Hi people. We hope you're having an amazing day today. Our feelings are a little bit complicated since we're thankful for what we have, but cannot avoid the sadness conquering our body since watching episode 9 of 1883. Now that we have only one episode left to wrap up the season, we don't think things will get any better soon as the tragedy gripped the Dutton family. While we usually handle each episode individually when it comes to exploring its themes, at this point, we feel like it's time to look at 1883 as a whole thematically. Since the premiering episode, we're witnessing one death after another, to the point that we started to feel numb towards the people's tragedies since their number has reached an overwhelming level. That being said, the killing of Inez a few episodes ago started to move us once again since it happened in the least expected moment to a really beloved character. Inez wasn't only a kind man, but also the lover of Elsa, our dear narrator and the daughter of the Duttons. The two were about to get married when the tragedy occurred, which made everything worse than it already is. The incident has become a turning point for Elsa, whose entire perception of life has changed. We watched her going through every single step of mourning, from the denial to coming to the peace. Once she found peace, she also met an Indian-American man named Sam and fell in love. Then, the couple got married, only to be separated soon so that Elsa can be there for her family while they were moving toward Oregon. Little did she know that this will be the last happy moment of her life. In episode 9, we watched Elsa being shot with an arrow by an Indian-American tribe leader due to a misunderstanding. Even though she let him know that she was married to an Indian-American man, it was too late. She was already deadly wounded. She still didn't give up though, and managed to reach back with her family. Still soon, they realized that there was almost no chance for Elsa to survive. Even though we didn't see Elsa dying in the end, we already know that this is the last time we see her alive, as episode 10 will probably witness a massive family tragedy, causing the Duttons to toughen up. What does Elsa's death mean, though? First of all, it means that the overall theme of 1883 Season 1 is death. Throughout all the episodes, it has been the one thing that remained constant. Everybody lost some loved ones and had to move on since life was going on. In a way, life and death intersected and created an interesting purgatory in the 19th century US where people are experiencing both states at the same time. Still, Elsa's death somehow means more than the death of any other character. Since the beginning of the show, everyone was worried, serious, and struggling to survive. Elsa, on the other hand, has always been a piece of sunshine that managed to see the positive in every horrible situation. Up until the death of Inez, she was living life as if she was immune to the tragedies. She gave us hope and proved that life is going on despite the tragedies. And yet, Inez's death killed a piece of her as well, which was the initial hit that she took. If she lacked family, friends, and, later on, Sam, she might have lost her entire soul to this devastating incident. But once again, she found meaning in life and managed to hold on. And yet, she wasn't the same Elsa anymore. Even her narration tone has changed as she started to sound much more depressive than she was before. She should be still dying, but gradually. When she got physically injured and didn't feel anything at first, we saw that after seeing all those horrible incidents, she should finally have died. However, when she reached back to her family, and they tried to save her life, she started to feel again, even if it was pain that she was feeling, and realized that she has a family to live for. This marked the reviving of Elsa's soul and finding meaning in life once again. Still, by this point, even though she should always be alive, her body is experiencing her last moments, which is just sad. In a way, Elsa has shown us throughout the season that this life is gradually killing our soul, and the way to make it alive is to realize that your time here is limited. There is also the fact that James and Margaret had to face their daughter's mortality in the saddest way possible, which is something that no parents would want even their enemies to go through. It was an interesting moment to see the two acknowledging this fact, and yet deciding to do their best still to save her since she is their daughter. Although they know it's impossible, they still hope for a miracle, since they're not ready to part ways with their daughter. While mourning after that's an overwhelming subject that's often being attempted to be depicted on screen, mourning someone before their actual death is something that we rarely see. It's the most grievous thing, since accepting the reality of death is highly difficult when someone is still alive. We already struggle to acknowledge the concept of death since our minds refuse to face someone's sudden absence. But when they're still here and yet are dying in front of our eyes, it's even more challenging to make a peace with this devastating concept. What do you think about Elsa's death? Do you think she was an essential part of the story and the show will have a hard time recovering from her absence? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.